So again, Unit 5, Day 5, it's intercepts, vertical lines, and horizontal lines. Those are our three concepts to talk about today. Let me begin with this question. What is an intercept? Okay. By the way, two lines cross, they meet in a what? They do intersect, you're right. They intersect in a what, though? Intersection what? Keep going with that XY idea.
Zero. XY intercept?
Not slope. Kind of like the origin, but do they have to meet at the origin?
Zero.
Oh man, we're gonna fail this. A, axis. A, B, C, D,
E.
H, I, J, K.
I.
S. Wait, N. O. E.
Point.
What?
Point.
Very good. Okay. Intercept is where two lines cross the point that they cross in. Specifically today we want to talk about intercept with the x and y axis. One of our lines will be the x or y axis every time. Oh shoot, I wasn't recording. So, graph. Easiest way to graph when it looks like this is to find the intercepts. So if you want to do cover up, I can deal with cover up. I'm going to cover up the x. Y equals 2. Then I'm going to turn and cover up the y. Done. Question. Math XL, that's all you have to have is just 2 points. Technically, here's what we're doing. Number one, I'm replacing the x with the 0 because any point that hits the y-axis will have 0 for x, so I find out where it hits x at. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 6y is 6y. And then I'm replacing the y with 0 because any point that sits on the x-axis has a 0 for the y-coordinate. All right. Let's get ready to move forward because remember I said... All right. Second feature of today's lesson. Let's talk about vertical lines. Ladies and gentlemen, who can tell us what a vertical line is by raising your hand and not shouting out? Chance. Correct. Here's a vertical. Here's a vertical. Here's a vertical. If I call this line A, this line K, and this line W. What do you notice about all the vertical lines? They do go up. That's the definition of vertical. Good. What? Yes, they do. Let me ask you this. What? They don't end. True. Bingo. A vertical line will only pass through the x-axis. There is one vertical line that will pass through the y-axis. It is the y-axis itself. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, where does line W hit the x-axis at? Okay? Therefore, since a vertical line only passes through the x-axis, its equation will always be x equals a number. That number is where you pass through the axis at. So line W is the equation x equals 7. Line K. Line A. Very good. I also tend to say this. If you have an equation that only has one variable in it, then it can only touch that axis. So notice that these equations don't have y, which means they can't touch y. Ladies and gentlemen, in mathematics, what does it mean for two lines to never touch? Parallel. Correct, Mr. Evans. So, if we have to draw a line that cannot touch the y-axis, it has to be parallel to the y-axis. And since the y-axis is vertical, all the lines in it are vertical or parallel to it. No y, can't touch y, so I got to be parallel to it, so I got to draw a line that will never touch y. Very good. Almost done. Ladies and gentlemen, what does a horizontal line look like?
It only goes across the line.
Correct. Only goes across. Line J, line O, and line E. Therefore, the equation of a horizontal is going to be a y equal. Because the horizontal can only touch the y-axis. Since it doesn't have an x, it's got to be parallel to the x-axis. And since the x-axis goes across the graph, all lines that don't touch the x will go across the graph. For example, give me the equation of line J.
Y equals 3.
Correct. What about line O?
Y equals 1.
What about line E?
-2.
Very good. Let's see what you guys can do with this.
A line. X equals 4.
Graph x equals 4 for me.
Okay, 0. Oh, 4.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what variable do you not see? Therefore, what axis can our line never touch?
Y.
So we need to draw something parallel to the y-axis. Yep, it's a vertical. Okay, Austin, you are correct that x is the horizontal axis. But since this only has x, that means we can only hit the x-axis. It will not hit the y. We got to draw it parallel to the y because there's another y on the side. Okay. What about if I gave you this? Mitch. Correct. Since this only has y in it, that means we can only cross y. We can't touch the x-axis. So therefore we have to draw something parallel to the x-axis, and parallel to a horizontal line is another horizontal line. Y equals -1.